first things first. This Saturday, around like midday, early afternoon, maybe late morning PST, don't really know exactly when. Gonna be streaming probably on Hytale, the new content creator SMP that's launching this weekend. Hosted by mine, of course. So that's this Saturday the 20th, if you're watching this on YouTube, when it comes out on YouTube. So feel free to hop in. Welcome back to Hytale Lore. We are chatting Chapter 1 today. Chapter 1 is basically upcoming addition to Hytale that is going to bring in some new story and tech elements. And we've got some little hints about what's going to be included. So we're kind of going to start there and then, as we tend to do, speculate. For this one, we can't actually really hang out in this world. There's something else that I want to explore that's in the game, and we have to completely abandon it. So say goodbye to our lore world just for today. I believe it's in Dungeons. Dungeon Goblin. It seems pretty clear at this point in time that Chapter 1 is going to be a goblin chapter, which I'm kind of into. I feel like the Boglins are like quintessential. You step into a fantasy world, here's your first sort of like spooky encounter. Not super scary, but there is this entire instance. So if you don't know, an instance is kind of like a visitable world within the game, and so they can serve as a dungeon. This is a dungeon specifically for our dear goblins that we're going to walk through. Let's give ourselves a torch as we go. My third person won't third person. Hang on a second. What's going on there? Switch camera mode should be V. V's not doing anything for me. It's not like double bound, is it? It's not double bound. Have I encountered a bug? I cannot third person camera. I can do this. Do we settle for this? I can't, no. No, because then I have to hold my finger down on it the whole entire time. And we're doing this, and it's gonna be okay. Anyways, this is an instance that's already in the game. This is the Goblin Dungeon. I would assume that, like, they're gonna use something a little bit more fresh for what they're putting out in the game. But we've seen on Twitter there have already been some hints as to what's coming. So there was a reference to the goblin. So if we look in the tools section, if we bring up our pickaxes, the pickaxes have this little tooltip that reads, all that stands between the Goblin Dukes and total domination of the underground regions is that they have yet to understand what this tool is. And there was a comment on Twitter, I believe, made by Simon in reference to that. And it looks like they're going to start figuring out how to use some things, which is really exciting. And then shortly thereafter, there was mention made of, oh, look at this, a little respawn point and a lot of shields. Your clipboard is empty. Load a prefab. What are you telling me? What are you telling me? Anyways, there was a reference soon after that in addition to whatever new sort of encounter and story elements we're also getting some new technology. And he said to keep expectations high. Look at this guy. He's mining. They're figuring it out. Look at him doing his thing. He's got the backpack full of copper. They're on their way to something. I don't know what the something is. But they're up to something. So, a few things that we do know are coming, first of all. We know that the Goblin Duke, which is the sort of boss fight that exists for the goblins, is getting a new friend. So it looks like we are getting an additional goblin boss in this update. The idea with the chapters is that eventually they're going to culminate into the full release of Hytale. Kind of like Hytale 2.0, like when the new world generation comes out and all this new, basically, technology that they want to use with it is established and usable. Which is a long way out, but they intend for the aforementioned technology to kind of compound upon itself. So they'll introduce some new elements in these chapters in terms of, I guess, game mechanics and how the game functions, and they will continuously build on this. Interesting. It still thinks that I have my my paste tool active. There's some weird stuff going on in my keybinds today. Yes, so eventually all of those chapters are going to culminate into the full release of the game, and that technology is going to kind of build as it goes. Given that we're getting the goblins starting to actually, like, interact with the world and with tools, and it looks like we're getting an additional goblin boss, I do kind of hope and wonder if the new technology that we're getting is related to NPC or faction mechanics. Like, I would love to see, obviously there's a big push for the game to have a living world, which basically is the idea that even if you're not directly involved with them, the factions will continue to do things on their own. Right, like they'll have interactions with one another, maybe other things will be built or added as you're playing the games, that the world is active and in motion around you. And I would love, 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 love to see that begin in this new chapter. If that is the sort of technology that they're introducing, I would be very, very excited to see how they use that, because it looks like the goblins are sort of like advancing a little bit. Not only do they have the pickaxe going on, but they also, oh, here we get another little spawn set and armor. Interesting. Right, not only are they using the pickaxes and everything, but they also, in the new pre-release, they have explosive Speak of the explosions, and they shall appear. They have explosive barrels. You mind your own business. The closest that we have to it right now is just like the little boom powder bombs or the boom powder mushrooms that exist in the game currently. But yeah, it looks like there's legitimate like explosives that are coming. And obviously we have the flamethrower that got added relatively recently as well. So it looks like these little creatures are going to be up to some mischief. And when you encounter whatever this story experience is going to be, I would have to assume that those would be elements that would be present in it to make the experience more dangerous for you. Maybe some traps, some pitfalls in which you could be struck with those kinds of weaponry. I really like them though. They're kind of cute, are they not? They're kind of like stupid cute. Hey now, I was just complimenting you, and you go and throw a bomb towards me. But currently at the very end of this, which I think we are fast approaching, we do have the boss fight. I think we have to pass through these sort of homes first. We have another spawn situation right here. Oh, it looks like maybe the whole progression through the dungeon right now, you get a full set of armor. He said keep expectations high. I hope that in adding a dungeon, it is something that is a little more fleshed out, a little more fully envisioned than this is. This definitely feels incomplete to me. This definitely feels like old version of the game, sort of incomplete. Like, this is a draft of what it can be, and hopefully they add an entire new situation. The other question here, though, is that if we do get something like this in the game, something kind of dungeon-esque like this that uses an instance, right now the instances are accessible through portals. Oh, here's the little houses. Let's see if we can get into one. These are like these little rundown houses that are inside the walls. I really like these. I really like this part of it, because this part of the dungeon actually started to excite me when I was going through it. I was like, oh, now we're like starting to really tell a story, and I'm into that. I think it could still be better. But I like it. I like this vibe. I like this vibe. But for the instances, they're currently accessible through portals in the game. So think about like the world gen instances that you can access. I think there's 5 of them that are presently inside of the game. Something like this would have to function the same way. So I'm wondering if they're going to add something underground in the same way that right now they have that. Oh, here we get to the entrance. In the same way that they have this sort of like this big ruin that they've moved into that you can find inside of like zone 1, and then you descend down beneath that and you get this whole like cave system of goblins that you experience. The ones in the desert seem to be more polished compared to other zones. The ones in the desert are pretty good. I've enjoyed those. I enjoyed the Outlander one too. It definitely needs work, but like I enjoyed it. Could you hear the goblin music? But yeah, I'm curious if they have it like a legitimate underground sort of dungeon situation as it currently stands, or if it will be something like this where you would have to access a different instance, which does require a portal, Obviously that would have like storytelling implications as well. I'm not sure what they intend with it though. But outside of the boss room right now, we have, I think it's the Goblin Ogre is what this guy is called. Let's bring out our entity tool. I love their little sounds. I'm honestly a very big fan of the Boglins. They're out of control. Yeah, it is. It's the Goblin Ogre. I hope this is not what they're talking about when they say that the Goblin Duke is going to get another friend. This better not be it. It better not just be this guy. It better be something new, especially when they said, like, keep your expectations high. If my expectations are high, I expect a new sort of goblin, okay? Goblin Duke. And then this is our boss that currently stands for the goblins. Goblin Duke Phase 3. I've not tried out this battle. I don't know if he currently actually like progresses through the phases. Should we give it a try? Should I put on some armor and give it a whirl? All this iron armor. As if I could survive on iron armor. I'm curious if this goblin is a pirate or interconnected with the pirates at some point. There's an anchor belt on the front. That's true. That could be really cool. This boss fight music. Oh my goodness. Oh, a little pirate connection would be awesome. I would be surprised if we got that, like, in Chapter 1, though. I'm assuming it's just going to be, like, underground focused on this faction. I'm just really curious what their, like, new piece of tech is that they have coming out. Still really hope it's the faction stuff. I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to give it a try. And I'm going to be brave. This reminds me, like, low-key of the Minions theme. A little like bum 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 bum. Let's go longsword and let's see let's see how this goes. I don't know if he's programmed at all. This is the first time I'm testing this out. Come at me. Yeah, that's right. You don't stand a chance. But do you do anything? Is the real question. Are you alive? Hey, that's something. Come here. Come after me. What do you got? Okay, and it's not programmed. So right now, if you go into... I gotta leave this room. This music is gonna keep distracting me. I can't think. I can't think through the combat music. Okay, if we go back into here, we go into, it's the Duke. It's the Goblin Duke. He has multiple phases that are listed in here, so I would have to assume, like, as you're dealing damage, he's meant to, like, shift through the phases. I don't know, maybe we try it again and we, like, hit him with an iron sword instead and see if that, like, gets him to actually change phases. But we have phase 2, we have phase 3 fast, and then we have phase 3 slow, in which he becomes enormous. Oh, and I didn't bring him to life. Let's try this. I'm curious now. I'm curious. Goblin Duke. Let's bring him in. I also just suddenly became curious about trying to bring in one of the other phase options and seeing what they do. Like if they can actually interact. Hang on a second. We're going to take an iron sword this time. Come at me. What have you got? What have you got? You haven't got much going on. I'm not gonna lie to you. and that's it. And he's dead. And he's down. So, okay, what happens then if I bring in phase 3? Like, will this guy do anything? Can you think? Okay, we're blocking. That's new. We're not hitting any harder, though. And that's it. That's still just it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Let's try the other one. I'm curious. If we keep going... What's your freaking problem? I didn't know they did that. He just went and killed the mouse. For shame. For shame. Let's bring in... let's try... Yeah, what the heck? Let's try this guy. How fast is fast? Come at me. Oh, you're on fire. That's new. Did he, like... Did he explosion himself too close to the sun? Flamethrower? Explosive powder? And... I'm so sorry. Let's pull up the last one. I've gone fully out of order. Let's see what you have in store. What can you do? Phase 2. Show me. Show me what Phase 2 is. Phase 2 is just a bunch of blocking. Stop it. He's just standing here. Okay, so there's definitely a lot left to be desired in the way that the Goblin Duke progresses right now. I hope that they keep updating that as well. The impression that I get is that, like, the current update that's going on, like the update number 6 is kind of leading us into chapter 1. Especially given that we've gotten the explosives update that's in there. So, like, that's a new game mechanic already that we have to work with. The big old explosive barrels. So true. So true. But the last thing that's kind of on my mind as I love the scrappers and the hermits. They're so cute. The last thing that's on my mind as I'm thinking about chapter 1. Since it's clear they're doing goblins. Like, that is what we're getting. There's no doubt about it. The chapters are designed to, like, lead into one another, right? In the format of a book. They're chapters. Where do the goblins go? They start doing stuff. Does that, like, start to mess with other parts of the world? Mess with other factions? They've discovered how to use pickaxes. Is that now, like a, oh, we have to watch out for what the goblins are doing and other people are going to have to respond to what the goblins are doing? That is what I would love the most. What I really want. What I would really love to see. Like, from a narrative perspective that would encourage me as a player to want to participate more in the base game instead of, like, modded game. Is that the goblins, in their, like, advancement, introduce that sort of living world faction mechanic where they begin to grow and expand on their own. They begin to learn things on their own or advance on their own. And I would love for that to eventually lead into raids. Goblins become brazen, they begin to go on raids, they go and raid other factions, and then we get to see those faction responses. And those responses kind of, like, compile throughout the course of all of these chapters, along with additional mechanics that help build upon their interactions and the player's ability to interact with them. Especially as the game is, like, angling towards this kind of high fantasy or dark fantasy feel. I feel like that is kind of the best place to go, and then eventually that can launch into full quests and everything. The goblin pickaxe, you say? Let's see. They're really just... They're really just doing what they can. What is that? Come on. There's no thoughts going on in that brain. Do you see the state of those eyes? There's nothing between them. Absolutely nothing. The other thing, in terms of, like, chapter progression and mechanics that could be really interesting about the goblins is the fact that, like, we've already talked about this before, but they be stealing stuff. Most of what they have down here is, like, they've moved into some mines that it looks like people made in the past and are not theirs, right? They steal things that are not theirs. They have all of these hordes of, like, gold and things that they've stolen from above ground that are not theirs. Introducing an initial chapter that focuses on a faction that just perpetually, habitually steals things from other factions is a great way to start introducing whatever the narrative is going to be with those other factions. They just believe in their brethren in 40k orc. The camps reflect raider lifestyle. That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Do we think there will be a sort of relationship between them and the Trorks like there are in most, you know, like goblins and orcs, kind of adjacent factions, thanks to Papa Tolkien, thanks to Grandpa Tolkien, who kind of used it interchangeably at first. Do we think they're going to be besties? I would love to see that, because obviously they just go around stealing from a lot of people, but what if they see the Trorks and they're like, and you're my best friend, and you're my cousin? I could see it. That would be kind of fun. Though I would not be surprised if they do just take the approach of like, the goblins are in their own whole little bubble of existence. They're just doing what they do. But that is our goblin dungeon. Oh, ignore the arrows in the sky. I'm testing something, and that's not important. I forgot that I forgot that I had those in here. Oh, it looks crazy. It'll be something eventually, but it's not today. But yeah, that is all we have to go off of at the moment. Also, as we're wrapping up here, gotta say once again, we are still in our pre-chapter 1 drought. If you guys have any other concepts that you want to talk about in these videos, anything else that you would be excited to go over, please let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, drop it in the comments. Because I know we have like a couple more topics that we can talk about, but I don't know how long it's going to take for chapter 1 to get here. Probably more than a couple more weeks. Probably more. In the meantime, I have to get going because I'm wearing armor. Because I have more World Gen work that I need to be doing, like yesterday. So I will see you guys later. If you're watching this on YouTube, poll is now live on the YouTube channel to go pick a topic for next week. And we have a Discord channel if you haven't joined and you want to hop in and chat with us. You're absolutely welcome to. But I'll see you next week. Happy hightailing.